God will visit the United States of America. I want us to confess and say, God will visit the United States of America. The first point is as follows. I wrote the message in point form. In troubled times for Christians, I see God visit millions of Christians with revival and renewal. That's the first point. In troubled times for Christians, I see God visit millions of Christians with revival and renewal. So Christians should not expect things to be calm at an earthly or human level there in the United States of America, because God is busy shaking in that country. The confusion may actually intensify. They must expect a spiritual awakening in the middle of the confusion. If you are a student of history, the greatest revival in the first century, it occurred when there was actually upheaval in Israel there, in that territory in the Middle East. There was very serious upheaval. The temple in Jerusalem was destroyed 66 AD or 67 AD. But during that time, there was a massive Christian awakening. So God said, I must alert Christians that God is actually moving in the midst of what seems to be confusion in the United States of America. The second point, I see a prominent leader who will be in and out of hospital because of old age and sicknesses. Not sickness, but sicknesses. I know the person that I'm talking about, but at the present moment, God told me not to mention the name. Let us continue to pray for unity. Why? Because homeland security will be a very serious issue for the next 3.5 years. Homeland security. Not problems in other countries, but problems within the United States of America there. I see a lot of things in the vision exploding. A lot of things what? Exploding. These are problems. These are things which will cause them to be what? To be fearful. These are things which will cause even those leaders, those among the leaders who are godless, to say, guys, to say, people, let us pray. Men and women, let us what? Pray and seek God. The Spirit of God says for 3.5 years, homeland security will be a very serious issue in the United States of America. God will shake Washington, D.C., the seat of power in the United States of America. He will do it for his own glory, in his own way, and at his own time. And then the next point, there will be very stiff opposition against a certain woman ascending to the highest point in the seat of power in the United States of America. There are forces that are positioning a certain woman to be elevated to the highest point in the United States of America. But there will be very, very serious opposition. No, opposition which is not a joke. I want you to say opposition which is not a joke. As I'm talking, the Spirit of God was telling me when I was writing this point that there are pastors and prophets in the United States of America who have seen this thing in a vision, who are praying against this. Not because they hate a woman, but because of the character of the woman and what the woman stands for. Not because they hate a woman. Why would we hate a woman when all men and women are born out of a woman? Even the Messiah, he came through a woman. He didn't come through a man. Even Jesus Christ, when he was coming to the earth, the road that he took is called a woman. For him to arrive, the person who welcomed Jesus to this world is not Joseph. Joseph was there as a witness to Mary welcoming Jesus to this life. Mary experienced the arrival of Christ earlier than any person on earth. And when Jesus Christ was resurrected, the first human beings to see him were not the men who were cut in the grave. They fainted. It was the women. I want us to say it was the women. But the reason why God will permit very stiff opposition to rise against this woman, it is because of what she stands for. There are people who will say, would rather fast to the point of almost dying for this woman not to ascend the throne. But there are forces of darkness and forces of light which are fighting in the United States of America. The Spirit of God is saying we must be vigilant. And there are people who are planning assassination from this year onwards in the United States of America. They are serious about planning assassination. The Spirit of God is saying for the United States of America not to be plunged into crisis. Intercessors should not trivialize the message that I'm speaking. If they ignore or trivialize the message that I'm speaking, this year, I want us to say this year, or the years following it. I want us to say, or the years following it. I'm actually referring to 2 years following it. Following 2021. They might become like 1963. So we must pray.